Today we're going to be talking about, without a doubt, AI's biggest problem in 2025, and that is, with no other competition, its inability to understand physics and the physical laws of this world. This means it's very hard for AI to simulate or represent the world. This is the main reason that AI videos are very unrealistic nowadays and seem to be very bad at representing actual things like car crashes. Like, seriously, go to any AI video generator and type in a car crash scenario. The output's going to be horrible. This is due to something called spatial intelligence, which us humans just have built into us, but AI systems lack off the rip. It's something that needs to be trained into them, and only now have companies started to realize how important this area of AI is and have started creating labs and methodologies for training spatial intelligence into AI systems. Today's video topic was inspired by Google DeepMind's recent study in which they look at the exact same problem that I'm referring to, and it's called "Do Generative Video Models Understand Physical Principles?" We're going to use this study as the basis to answer our question, does AI understand physics? So we're going to briefly go over some of the key findings from this research to understand what exactly they found from what they were looking for. The main thing they found is that current AI video models do not understand physics in any deep sense. They achieve high visual realism but fail at physical reasoning. And realism is not the same as physical understanding. So these models can generate convincing videos, real-looking videos, but they cannot correctly predict real-world physics outcomes. For the videos that do look ultra-realistic, it is just their best guess at what that video will look like. The model's in no way trying to determine what the physics of that scenario would be. And if you ask it for a more physical scenario, such as a domino chain interrupted by an obstacle or a car crash, the model fails to predict realistic outcomes and often just breaks while trying to generate a video like that. DeepMind's research suggests that interactivity might be the missing link. It highlights that AI models trained passively on video data lack the ability to distinguish correlation from causation, suggesting that interacting with the world may be necessary for true physical understanding. And this is where the basis of all modern research in this spatial intelligence era is formed. We want to actually train these AI models on what the real world is like, as if you were training a baby on what the real world is like. And this will likely be necessary for us to produce models that truly understand physics and can recreate the physics of the world. Google DeepMind presented a lot of evidence for these claims in their research, and they created what they call a physics IQ benchmark to see how good these AI video models really are at some important elements of physics. And even the best AI model scored only about 29.5% on the physics IQ test, which is far below the baseline, which is 100%. And some specific domains where AI struggled was solid mechanics, fluid dynamics, optics, thermodynamics, and magnetism. So these are all very, very important elements for representing the physical world. And true AGI must understand and predict physical events, not just generate realistic looking outputs. So it's almost like these AI videos models are watching the world and then trying to recreate what they've already seen rather than fully understanding the world. And that makes sense because they haven't been in the world. They haven't experienced the world at all, right? When a baby grows up, they touch things and they play with things. Then when they become older, they try things out. Like, the first time they fall on the ground, they don't realize how bad it's gonna hurt, that kind of thing. An AI model doesn't experience that kind of stuff. And that's why we need to create methods for them to, quote unquote, experience the physical world. There are a few clear methods that we're going to be using to train these future AGI AI models that are going to be able to understand the world. And one of these is simply called world models. So I have a video specifically talking about how world models work. So if you want to learn more about these, go check out that video. But similar to the human brain, world models are AI systems that build an internal simulation of reality, a mental model of how the world works. So instead of passively predicting pixels, world models learn structured representations of objects, forces, and rules of physics. So they represent entities and they track these entities over a course of time. A lot of generative video models today don't really have an internal world model. This is something that they're paying attention to. Specifically, the company Runway has discussed that they are using world models in their video model architectures. So these models are predicting what looks plausible, but they're not tracking objects, their properties, and interactions. And of course, they're not actually simulating the physics of what's going on in a scene. So we want these models to, instead of just guessing the next frame, simulate the underlying physics of a scene at an object level and be able to track everything that's going on. This all lends to the concept of spatial intelligence and spatial awareness of the 3D structure of our world, in order to track objects across time and predict movements. And this is really what these AI models need, is spatial awareness. And world models are the way that we're going to train them to be spatially aware. But another methodology that we're going to be using to make these AI models more aware of our physical world and how it works is simply embodied agents and embodied training. And that is training AI models based on the experiences of a robot. So the AI model takes on the embodied physical presence of a robot, doing real world things, physically interacting with the world, such as a robot in a warehouse or a robot doing chores at home. And the AI model is going to learn through this way. For example, if you never touched water, you wouldn't understand how it flows just by watching a video. AI is currently like this. It doesn't understand how water flows. It needs to touch it and realize the physical meaning behind that, at least in the sense that we understand it. So I don't think this is going to be as big of a thing, because this is just that's not scalable, right? It's going to take a very long time to train models based on embodied agents. But world models kind of act as like a simulation of that same kind of training, where the AI models are simply experiencing a simulated world rather than a real one. And I think that's really going to be the scalable way to take this. So to conclude this video, AI's inability to understand physics is the biggest roadblock to AGI. That is what we now understand. And we now know that world models, spatial intelligence, and probably embodied AI are going to be the keys to solving this issue. And we also know that if AI can't predict real-world physics, it's not going to be truly intelligent, and thus these AI video models that are going to be producing, full Hollywood-length films just can't exist without that reality where AI understands physics. Google has proved this in their research, I think, and I really encourage you guys to go read this for yourself if you're really interested in this topic like I am. It's very informative and informed most of the points in this video. So we know the ways to fix this, and luckily these companies are waking up to this, and a lot of spatial intelligence labs are blooming all over Silicon Valley as well, such as Fei-Fei Li's latest World Labs, and Runway Video's already been on this. So if Runway Video's working on it, you can assume all the other big AI video models are working on the same research, because they don't want to get left behind. I'm sure OpenAI is working on this stuff behind the scenes, and I definitely know that xAI is probably working on this behind the scenes as well. So if we want AGI, if we want truly intelligent AI, we're going to need to teach them how the world actually works. Physics is not optional, it's the foundation of reality, and if we want high quality, super ultra realistic videos, and we want video games, and we want all that, we need to teach AI how reality works so that it can properly simulate it. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, hope you learned something here, and yeah. If you want to learn more about world models, go check out my other video. It should be on the screen right now. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. So see you guys in the next one.